Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. As you saw in the last episode of this entry door, we installed the latch bolt. This time I'm going to show you how I installed the deadbolt. This one is actually kind of near and dear to my heart because I spent about 10 years working for a company called Sargent where we designed electronic locks. So without further ado, let's check out the installation process, the adventures that went along with it, and do a little bit of a product review as we go. For our deadbolt, we're going to be installing this Wyze bolt lock. It's a keypad with a fingerprint scanner, and it looks pretty straightforward. Instructions are pretty easy, so let's try this out. Let's see how it looks. All right, first thing I'm doing is checking the depth of the deadbolt. So I've used a screwdriver and just turned this to extend the deadbolt. I'm looking at the gap between the door and the frame, and then I'm taking this and sticking this in here to see that this is bottoming out, and I think it's borderline. So I may have to run a drill bit in here to deepen this pocket just a little bit, but let me get it installed and see if it actually clears. I'm looking at this pre-mortised pocket here, and when I put the deadbolt plate in here, it's just missing. It's just a hair too big. So it looks like it's about a 1/16 of an inch too big. So I'm going to use you can have your choice of tools here, but I'm going to use a Dremel and just kind of mill this out just a little bit. Okay, now that's in there. Secure it with the screws. I checked the deadbolt and it's not fully going all the way out, so I'm gonna carve this in about a 1/16 to 1/8 of an inch just to give it that little bit extra clearance. Let's put in the strike plate. Now let's take a quick look at this here before I put it on the door. I'm going to use some of my past experience with door locks. We do have a gasket, which is not bad. That's good to have. I probably would have done things a little bit differently on this PC board. There's some test points here that are exposed. If this gets moisture in it, that could cause problems, but they did at least put some sealant around the connector pins, which is good. 3 out of 5 I would give them. But then again, this is a relatively inexpensive lock, so I guess you get what you pay for. But that might be something I may throw a little, maybe get some conformal coat spray or something that'll just seal those up just to protect them. So, all right, let's get this plate mounted up. Alright, first thing is to put the keypad through. It's got a cable that has to feed under the deadbolt assembly, and then these are going to line up with the holes in the bolt. Okay, and again, this has a gasket on it. I can't really tell inside how well it's sealed, but hopefully they've done a decent job. Okay, this has to feed through the opening in the plate and get lined up. And then I have to put the 2 screws in. So this has to get lined up with those holes. Let's see. Nice thing is you can actually see into the center hole here. So you can kind of get eyeballs on the where the screw is. Trick is you want to hold this. You gotta hold all this stuff in one place. Get this guy lined up, start threading them. Ran into this problem even on the expensive locks that I used to design. So it's a common issue. Okay, now before I tighten it, get it aligned so it's even. Same thing on the front. Kind of get it aligned and then snug them down. Okay, that should be good. Okay, now we're gonna, this connector plugs in. There is a rib right here which aligns with the slot on the connector. You can see that slot right there. I'm going to use the 2 screws. Well, you see there's the test points I was talking about and the kind of RTV on the connectors. So it's, you know, but there's exposed connections, battery. So it's about halfway done well. So we make sure that our lever is in the vertical position because the deadbolt is retracted, because it does that way to expand. So if you put it in that way, you can install it, but it's not going to work right. So you have to make sure you're vertical first. Get this in, line it up with the tailpiece, get it fully seated, make sure it works mechanically, and now let's get the screws in. Okay. Alright, I want to point out a mistake I made. I got all this installed, but one thing I didn't take into account was the compression of the weather stripping. So after I had this mounted, it's binding. If I just give a little compression to the weather stripping, now it fully engages with no resistance. I'm probably talking less than 1/8 of an inch. A few weeks have gone by. Let me explain what's happened. I identified I've got 2 problems with this installation. First, I didn't put the strike plate fully into the mortise. And so that's why when you close this and it first clicks, you're hitting, because it's not compressing the weather stripping. It should have gone a little further and that would have cleared it. So that was the first problem. Second problem is when I actually tried to adjust that and slide the strike plate in, the latch bolt wouldn't even engage. So dug into it and take a look at this close up. See that scuff mark? How far down it is on the strike plate? What was happening is the latch bolt was hitting the bottom of the strike plate and the bottom of the hole that's drilled in the frame, because it's a round hole. They just drilled it using probably a Forstner bit, instead of it being up here where it could have room to go. So that is a manufacturing defect, because that mortise was done at the factory. So I called the installer and I said, hey, can you guys fix this? Because this really shouldn't be my problem. Well, I probably should have just fixed it myself, because take a look at this here. The guy that came back out after about 3 weeks. So as you can see here, it looks like he trimmed the mortise and shifted the plate down, but he angled one screw in, he reused the other screw hole, and the plate is crooked. Obviously this looks like he did it because he was in a rush and did it because he had to, not because he wanted to. I'm a little frustrated, but I'm also just fed up. It now works. You can close the door and latch the deadbolt. At some point, maybe I'll try to putty the holes and get the strike plate so it's actually perfectly vertical, but how many people look at it? So I'm choosing my battles here. But anyway, it is now all set. Let's program the lock. So unlike a lot of toys you buy, this one actually came with the batteries included. How nice of them. Okay, batteries are in, and we got a beep. So I'm gonna go here, add device. Oh, Wyze WLCKB1. It's actually pretty impressive. They take you through step by step right in the app here. Okay, we install the batteries. Installation complete. Begin setup. Press and hold the pairing button for 3 seconds. 1, 2, 3. Okay, we got a beep. Allow Bluetooth access, yes. Allow. Okay, close door, manually lock. Next. Name the device. Front door. Finish. Alright, create a new 4 to 8 digit code. Alright, well, hey, we'll do it the old Mel Brooks way. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Got the same combination on my luggage. Obviously, I will change this after this video. Oh, look at that. Please do not set as consecutive numbers. They obviously saw Spaceballs too. Alright, that's to consent to the fingerprint setup. Okay, next. Place your finger on the scanner. Wants me to do this 8 times. Okay, so it says it's unlocked. Now it's locked. Okay, make sure we're fully seated. Lock the door. And we are locked. Good. And there we go. Perfect. Alright, well that wraps up another video. Hopefully you learned a little something about electronic locks as well as lock installation. If you did, then that means I did my job. As always, thank you so much for watching. Please hit that like, subscribe, and notification bell. And till the next video, I'll see you later.